Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low, man.
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography, yes.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy Andrew Esquire back. We're doing it live. It's been a minute. It's been a while. Of course, on Legal Mindset, we teach you to be your own judge. I am very, very, very happy to be back with you guys with a fun one today. We're going to be talking about Clav and his Jailmaxxing, and I'll start with some light banter. I like all this Japanese American stuff on X. So we'll start with some fun stuff about that, and then we'll get into the Clav stuff. But I hope you guys are doing very well out there. There will be a fast facts on this, so there'll be a shorter version that'll come out later once the editing gets done. I've been quite busy and I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I'm back now. We got some good stuff. I'm gonna have a follow-up. We got some Somali stuff to kind of go back and report on, which will come in the next couple days, maybe by April Fools, because Somali is a fool. So we'll have some good stuff coming down the road. I'm very excited for that. And also after this, immediately after this, I'm going to do a locals. So for my locals community, if you're a member of locals, just check in over there. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have some good base conversation over there, and we'll get into that on that side. So good to see everybody here in the chat, checking in. Appreciate all y'all. I do love, with Clavicular, he's one of my favorite. I'm going to call him one of my favorite lolcows, simply because, as somebody said about him, he just throws the word maxing on pretty much everything and just makes that a thing. And I think that it is pretty hilarious. It's like, you've got one move and it's just throw maxing, right? Just everything is maxing. So this is, gator death maxing, Jailmaxxing, crime maxing, assault maxing, possible, we got federal crime maxing. So a lot of good stuff. Miss McSkittles says, can we send Clavicular to work in the gator fields? That's the Florida version, right? Just like Johnny has the cabbage fields, Clavicular has the gator fields. And actually what they should be the Burmese python fields, because Burmese pythons quite an invasive species and problematic. So they should send Clavicular out there to clear out the Burmese pythons and make him have to deal with that, because they're actually hilarious. Euro Clegane says Clav is lolcow maxing. I know, and it's absolutely, to me, hilarious, because the whole thing, that whole subset, right? That whole subset of like the looks maxing is the most like autistic, niche side of everything. And the fact that became a thing and popped off, and a lot of the clips are getting traction out there, and now he's getting into all sorts of criminal incidents, is kind of hilarious, because that was always something that was kind of a joke, right? Was that whole niche of the internet. And he kind of represents everything that is a joke about that niche of the internet. So it's quite entertaining to me sometimes. But real quick, also entertaining to me, and I don't know if you guys saw this on X, but I do love all of the Japan America stuff that was going on. So apparently, finally, people discovered, and I'll just show this over here. Finally, people discovered like that Japan loves America. So like all these pictures, and this is like a super old picture of some cute Japanese girls that are here, that are here checking out Texas and are checking out that. You've got Godzilla with the bald eagle here. You've got Free Rin with Japanese, with the barbecue and the Bucky's hat in the middle light. You've got a lot of pictures of very, very cute Japanese girls with guns, with the American flag stuff. And I'm hoping we don't get a firearms warning today. I really am. And I did love this crossover. Afro Man is dressed like how the Japanese view Americans and anime, which is absolutely 100% true. I always love the memes of be the American that Japan thinks you are, because it is actually pretty badass. They actually really do like America. And you'll find that most people as you travel actually do like Americans and have positive reactions. Most people have a positive reaction when I go abroad, at least in Asia. They really are happy to be, oh, you're America, America's great, blah, 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 all these good stuff. So it's usually really good stuff with people abroad. I love it. But what I also love is Mr. Atkins giving 5 legal mindset memberships. Mr. Atkins 82. Appreciate that. Well, I was feeling a little under the weather. I had a chance to catch up on my JoJo, and I watched Steel Ball Run, which there's only one episode out right now, but I'm actually excited to see more of that. I think it's going to be a good one. All right. So let's get into clavicular jailmaxing. So let's pop this open over here. Here we go. So we've got obviously Brandon Peters, clavicular over here, a looks maxer extraordinaire, looking swell in his Osceola County mugshot. Now this is the actual mugshot. There was another different mugshot from a previous arrest out of state that was circulating, but this is the real one over here. Once again, I think that clavicular is going to end up getting, criminal charges if he keeps doing things the way he's been doing them and kind of with his very autistic approach to things, which he's now claiming is a criminal defense, which is hilarious. He's actually saying his autism is a criminal defense. Fantastic. It's just going to end up more crimes. It's just going to end up more bookings. It's just going to end up more arrests. It's just going to end up more scenarios. So that's all great stuff for me to cover as he kind of goes down that pipeline of just ending up in that way. In this case, we've got our plaintiffs. So I'm going to say the plaintiffs in 2 are his, I guess, ex-girlfriend or some girl claiming to be his girlfriend, Jenny Poppich, and also an alligator. We're going to talk about the alligator as well. The alligator, RIP that alligator. The alligator's definitely dead. Now, I do have to be careful because we did get popped on firearms policy last time I played video where there's a gun. But we'll talk about that. So let's jump right into it. With the gator scenario, what got everybody's attention was FWC. So my FWC, this is the official Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. Now, look, I grew up, and I made this no secret. I grew up hunting in Florida. So I've been a hunter in Florida since I was like 7 or 8. And one thing, if you've ever been a hunter or you've been, in any state, particularly Florida, is you don't around with Florida Fish and Wildlife or the Fish and Wildlife people. The Fish and Wildlife people are out there like sneaking up on people to catch them with an oversized bass, right? They're out there, weighing your fish, sizing up your fish. They're out there making sure if you're not taking, even if you're a licensed hunter, whatever, you have a permit, they're making sure you don't take too many animals or they're young or too small or whatever else. They're out there cracking the whip. The game wardens, they can be really, 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 really annoying. So I guarantee you these guys were flooded, and I mean absolutely flooded with calls, and they felt like they needed to say something because their authority would be at stake if they did it, because people might feel like, oh, they can go out there and just light up gators in the Everglades. It's just like open season on gators where you can just roll out and just spray gators down in the Everglades. Because let's face it, I'm from Miami, Florida. So someone asked, are you from Florida? Yeah, I'm from Miami, Florida. I grew up there, went to school in Florida. Like, I'm very much a Florida man. Very, very much a Florida man. Most of my life, I've been in Florida before I came to Asia. Now, with that, that's absolutely not something they want, right? Because while you're in the Everglades, look, if you're not streaming, you probably would get away with it, right? I'm just being real, right? Everglades are massive. You can head out there and do a lot of things and no one would really know. In fact, when I would go for target practice, we just go to plink, essentially plink. You could go out in the Everglades, set up some cans or targets or whatever else and just do that out there. And no one's going to bother you or see you or even, probably even hear you because they're so massive and there's just nobody around, right? So the thought is, hey, a lot of people are going to get the idea to wander out there and start lighting up gators, start killing gators, etc. And that comes after a certain video circulated with him in a gator. Now, originally they had thought the gator, people were speculating the gator was alive. But when you review the tape, when you review it, it looks like the gator was already dead, which does make a legal distinction under Florida Fish and Wildlife Code and under Florida law. But let me just pop this over here and let you guys see what happened with the gator. The sound is a little low in the beginning. It's maxed out though. So they ask, can we dump a round into it? See, this is another thing too. They say we got the boat right there. What they end up doing in a lot of this is practicing extraordinarily poor gun safety because they do what's called flagging. Essentially, they wave their guns across each other. They're firing across each other. They're not using ear protection, right? So they're essentially, you'll see it in a lot of different scenarios where they're not really practicing optimum gun safety, right? The video is not muted. It's just very, very low. So the guy does say, then in its defense, the guy does say they can do it. So yeah, I don't know. You guys had no audio. Maybe you guys heard that then, right? Let me make sure this is maybe make sure the audio is on so you guys could hear the pop. There you go. Yeah, definitely the audio is on. All right, we'll continue. Yeah, so these guys have no ear protection. These guys do on the back, but these guys have no ear protection.
That gators. Just had to make sure.
Clavicular with one of the most questionable stances out there, firing stances out there, period. So they light up the gator. Gator is definitely lit up. Yo. So they do light up the gator. Okay. So that was like incident 1 that got the attention. Incident 2 is them firing at a drone, right? So this is the other incident that got people talking, and people said, no, this is the bigger one because it's a federal crime, right? So you've got a drone hovering up there, right? And you can see the drone is like filming them or watching them, or, you know, maybe someone's trying to like, you know, cover them or et cetera, see what they're doing. So
it's like a leaderboard.
Nah,
I don't know, but that's not ours, bro.
So they say it's not their drone, right? So they're saying, hey, that's not our drone. We don't own that drone. And that makes a material difference.
Nah, not him. No, don't shoot it.
Just get so mad. That's not ours, bro. Someone's watching us.
Yeah, no shit. It's all
out. That's a clip right
Bro,
there,
ours
though.
is literally right there, bro.
How much
I
does
think
this
you should
drone
shoot it.
cost?
I think you should shoot at it. Don't hit it.
Yeah? What?
You should shoot at it, not hit it. Now that actually is a legal difference, right?
Somehow shoot around it, right?
Yeah. Shoot it. Oh, yeah, my bad.
Oh, he's gonna dodge it.
You gotta dodge it?
Yeah. He's moving.
Oh shit! Almost.
So they are actually shooting at the drone, right? So they continue to shoot at the drone and plink at the drone. Okay, so I'll answer your guys' questions because I see there's some questions. Some of them are not related, but I'll get those in a second. So here's what the real issue is with this, and this is actually the more interesting thing to me. So shooting a live gator is actually a 3rd-degree felony. So you actually get up to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. And that's something that I actually knew, as a Floridian, I knew that's a felony. A lot of people don't know that's a felony. You might not think it's a felony. Maybe you might think it's a misdemeanor, but actually a felony. You can get up to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. That's pretty serious. But shooting a dead gator isn't a crime generally. Now, the exception is you're not allowed to like take a gator carcass. You're not allowed to like haul it off or like chop it up or whatever, take its flesh, right? Without special permission, without, having the ability to do that. So you're not allowed to do that to kind of transport it or move the carcass. It doesn't appear like they actually did that. So they left the carcass alone. They were shooting it to shoot it, right? So likely that's not a crime, right? Alone. Now, shooting at a drone, that's interesting because drones, and whether or not you believe this, and I think there needs to be separate regulation for drones because drones can be very annoying. You're actually not allowed to shoot a drone. So a drone is classified as an aircraft under the FAA. There's no separate category that makes it less than an aircraft. So technically a drone is an aircraft under the FAA. So it is a crime for any aircraft, which drones are included as an aircraft, to damage, destroy, or wreck aircraft. So law enforcement can take down drones, but you are not allowed to take down a drone. That's very, very important distinction, right? And obviously, if it was your drone, then maybe you could argue, okay, it's my drone. I can wreck it if I want to. But they said, oh, no, it's somebody else's drone. Now, they may get off on that one because they didn't actually hit it, right? They didn't actually hit it. But that could be a big issue if they did hit it. And once again, that's another felony, right? So you've got like felony maxing. If they had, once again, if it'd been a live gator, if they'd hit it, definitely would be felony maxing for sure. Somebody in the chat also said they're drug maxing. And I think that's also in many cases apparent. Even them, they admit in sometimes that they're high or intoxicated and other stuff. And in fact, in a previous arrest, Clavicular was caught with some substances. So that's actually something that did indeed happen. The Professor Keen, 1911 said these events are not improving Florida's reputation. No. Although I will say Clavicular is not a Florida man. He's just in Florida. He's actually a Jersey boy. So not a true Floridian there. Torgo said the gaming wardens was more like it. Listen, I'm not going to knock all game wardens. Some of them are nice. They're just very serious about their job. They take their job very seriously, extremely seriously, in enforcing all the limits, the rules, or regulations. And you know what? I guess for conservation purposes, that's a good thing, right? But they're very, very serious, right? And they usually will not let you slide. Wiseman TV1 for 10 says, call me crazy, but I actually eat crude cabbage IRL. Hey, listen, cabbage is good. Cabbage is good. Random unbreaded commenter for 5 says, Japan loves America because Oppenheimer brought us anime and Pokemon, and they don't want to have a third son dropped on them if you want to know Rice Krispies. Oof. Listen, I saw a meme that was like, if Japan could get over, if America and Japan can be friends and get over Pearl Harbor and Hiroshima and Nagasaki, anybody can be friends. It's a good lesson for countries all over the world, right? Wiseman TV1 for 550, Romanian, said, hey, Legal Mindset, what's your personal opinion about Legal Eagle? Oh, God. And his recent videos seem to be getting more political, particularly against Trump. Much love for Romania. He has always been that for the past, as long as I've been on YouTube. I was actually inspired to get on YouTube because Legal Eagle was so clearly political. Now, that's not to say I don't have my political beliefs and my leanings and my preferences. Of course, you guys know I'm a little more based than the average bear, but I tell you the law and the facts, and I say, hey, look, even if my feelings are this way and my political leanings are this way, hey, this is right or wrong. So, for example, if I'm examining things Trump did when I go over his immigration stuff, I say, hey, this is likely to fly. This is likely not to fly. This is likely to pass. This is likely not to pass. Or here's the percentage chance, because that's what I want to be as objective and put my feelings aside and my biases aside, right? Even if I agree with somebody, even if I think that they may be right, if they went and committed a crime, that's unrelated to their beliefs. Let's say somebody went out there and murdered somebody. I don't care what their belief is on, economics or the Federal Reserve, right? That's not really something that matters if they went out there and murdered somebody, right? I'm just talking about the actual thing they did. So that's where I'm at with that. And that's why I have a beef with Legal Eagle, because he'll misrepresent the law when he's presenting his case, and he'll take a particular point, and sometimes he'll make legal points that aren't even really the law as it stands, as the Supreme Court has ruled. So I think there's something to be honest and say, no, this is the way the law is, whether we like it or not. And sometimes the law turns out a way you don't like it. Wiseman TV, welcome as a new member as well. Very, very, very based. And shout out to all the members out there. Appreciate all of you guys.
Hello, beso de pato, man.
Yeah, Legal Beagle. Okay, so the real criminal charge is battery. So let me get to that for you guys, because I want you guys to see this. So this is the one he's actually in trouble for. And this is the thing that actually will get him in trouble. So let me play this clip here. It's about 49 seconds of a fight that happened in Kissimmee at a Airbnb. So this is the fight that went down.
All you whores, gather the whores up. Gather the whores up. You're a whore. You give your up to
So obviously he's got all these girls in there. He's trying to flirt with multiple girls. He's got the multiple girlfriends thing going, or multiple girls he's trying to hook up with. So of course there's going to be girls that are fighting, girls that are, yelling at each other. That's obviously going to be a thing. And once again, as he says in his defense, because he's autistic, right? He doesn't know how to handle these things properly, right? And he doesn't handle these situations properly.
just to get on a little stream and get.
So there's the other girl, and this girl is his, I guess, girlfriend, Violet. She's actually charged as well in this.
Ripped apart. Don't touch me. Ripped apart. Do not touch the out. No, get the out. Shut the up. Get the out. You and you did not.
Here we go.
I don't care. And you let your boyfriend. Shut up. Get out. I'm gonna. Do not touch me. I'm gonna drag. Do not touch me.
Yo, you're.
So he's not really helping there. You know, he's calling her out. He's pointing at her. Girl grabs her. All right, now we're into assault and battery territory. And there's a later video, not on this video, but another video where she's actually on top. She's like full mount, and she's just wailing on her, just like straight up wailing on her, and kind of going in there. And Clavicular also in that footage is holding her back, right? He's kind of holding her down, holding her back. At one point, he's pulling them apart, right? But at one point, he's actually holding her while the other girl is still hitting her, right? So that's actually in some other footage as well. So that fight was what he was arrested for recently. So that's the thing he was brought in on charges of both battery, misdemeanor battery, and also instigating battery, right? So essentially conspiracy to instigate battery. So essentially making the situation happen, right? And you can see here, let me pull up, that the girlfriend was actually already charged as well. Clavicular was charged, Brandon Peters, but Violet Marie Lentz over here, she was charged with assault in Osceola County. So there you go. She's over there. So that's the actual charge that was brought in there. And then Clavicular himself was brought into the jail. And I'm going to play this, this clip here from the news, which kind of shows him coming in and out of the jail. Right. And this is just recently. He's already got out on bond.
The jail, that was about 30 minutes ago. When he saw the cameras were waiting for him outside, he went back inside the jail. He was on the phone. I think he was looking for a ride. No one was there to pick him up, but we asked about the battery charge.
She's like a 4.
We asked about the incident in the Everglades, and he did not speak, but he did answer just one question that I asked him. You're usually pretty chatty. Anything to say?
Yeah, sure. Just woke up. I'm a little tired, so maybe next time.
Yeah, don't do drugs, guys.
He walked off by himself, and he
no
was still on the phone.
goon-maxxing.
So what's next?
I see you in the
He's
chat.
facing those charges in Osceola County, which is the Kissimmee area. And FWC is also looking into some video showing him shooting at a dead gator in the Everglades.
So that was back when they're still looking at it. I think they've actually stopped looking at that. And another thing they bring up, and this is actually really interesting, which could come up, is the situation where like he's a nuisance in the neighborhood. Let me pull this up. The news brings that up a little bit later.
Broward County Jail. He was arrested on Thursday at this Las Olas Isles mansion. It rents for $65,000 a month. He's facing charges out of Osceola County near Kissimmee involving a fight between two women. The sheriff's office put out a statement saying detectives determined that Braden Peters instigated the fight and posted it on social media to exploit the two women. He's facing charges of misdemeanor battery and criminal conspiracy to commit battery.
And I think the conspiracy one is going to be harder to get out. He may be able to get out a little bit more of the battery, saying, okay, he was just holding her, etc. But I mean, the instigation and the creation of the situation, that's going to be, I think, a little bit more difficult because once again, you're filming all of these things. All of these things are on camera. So when you're filming your crimes, it becomes so much more difficult to get out of them.
Neighbors complain their quiet street in this uber upscale neighborhood is shattered by noise.
Hey, the neighbors, blast the
Fort Lauderdale City Commissioner Ben Sorensen said neighbors sent him these screenshots of Peters surrounded by young women, not concerned about the noise. Neighbors say cars on this narrow street are a problem too.
The street gets loaded up with cars on a daily or weekly basis, depending on what's going on. So it's pretty much, it's a party house, I'd say.
Just had to make sure.
Okay, all right. So there might be some nuisance stuff coming down there. There might be some other issues coming down. Once again, we're talking about crime maxing. You can see a situation in which more stuff happens, especially if he ends up getting in a fight with a neighbor, pissing off a neighbor, right? That can end up in a scenario too. Also, thank you, A Wolf, for 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Yes.
And one even more hilarious thing, and this thing came out very, very recently in an article, was him attempting to use clout chasing and also autism as a defense for this, right? Which was hilarious. So this is actually from a TMZ article. Sources close to Clavicular tell us he did not assault or instigate anyone in the February incident, and the girl who called police and claimed his girlfriend battered her is someone who has been trying to gain fame and clout off Clav's back. Our sources confirmed the fight between the two women happened at an Airbnb he rented in Florida, but they were adamant that he did not instigate it and was not involved in the fight. They say he was just standing there awkwardly because he has autism, and they claim he isn't guilty of a crime. So that is a first for me. I have not seen the autism defense whipped out in a while. I mean, that's a new one. And clout defense. So saying, hey, if someone is seeking clout off me, if they're clout chasing, right, that's a criminal defense. That's totally criminal, right? That's totally criminal. No, that actually isn't, right? If you committed a crime, it doesn't matter who has more clout. If the guy who's hit or the girl who's hit or whatever else, the relative clout, if the gator has more clout than Clav, it doesn't fucking matter, right? I'll put one in the swear jar for that. Like, that doesn't matter at all. Your autism also not going to get you off. There's a lot of autistic criminals. You can't go to the judge and be like, sorry, judge, I have autism. No, they're still going to throw you in jail. It's a huge misdirection. And at that point, you should actually, once again, when these things are happening, like, you don't, as the content creator, if you're going to create these scenarios where you've got cat fights in the house, you got people fighting, people stream sniping and coming in, causing other trouble, you've got to have your security handle that or other people handle that. As the content creator, you're not a person who can get involved in that. You end up with scenarios like a lot of the people we've seen with these kick streamers, right? With the nuisance streamers as well, right? Now, the nuisance streamers are a little bit different, right? The Somalis of the world, right? But because in that case with Johnny Somali, he's going out there and very intentionally committing a crime. With this, he's creating a scenario, I believe. It's more of the overall scenario where there's going to be crimes that are going to happen. By the way, speaking of things that are going to happen, if you guys haven't already, and I will put the link in the description, make sure you get the cabbage plushie. That's out as well, guys. That's out as well for Somali. Very nice, very nice. A lot of you have already done that, and I've got an account on that, so we've already got a lot of cabbage maxing. I just hit the camera, so it twerked. But make sure you guys get that. I'm going to put the link in the description for you guys to get that as well. It's very, very cute. So here's my judgment on what's going to happen here in this case. So my judgment is that he's likely going to get cleared for the gator crime. He's unlikely to get charged for the drone because it was a dead gator. So that being a dead gator, that's not going to get hit with the gator crime. And because he didn't actually hit the drone, that's not going to be a thing. I think it's very interesting, though. It's like an interesting case study to look at because, once again, you should remember that it is indeed a crime. Right? A lot of people don't even know that. So by just making awareness of that, hey, shooting a gator is a crime. Shooting a drone is a crime. Like, I think that's actually pretty important for everybody to know. So that's what I wanted to get out there for you guys. But I do think he's although he's already out on bail for the battery charge, he doesn't have a defense for clout chasing or autism, and it's going to be difficult to get out of the conspiracy charge. And beyond that, I think there's more crimes that are definitely going to follow from this house because his style, he's gotten many things happening. People mention the drug maxing, right? The use of drugs, etc. You're going to eventually get caught on that. Someone's going to talk. Things are going to get out. You're live streaming. These things are going to happen. So I think eventually there's going to be more things coming down the pike for sure. Larry Powers 2515 for 2 says he'll make some lucky prisoners a fine wife. Yeah, Clavicular would be absolutely absolutely holding someone's pocket within about 5 minutes in jail. A Wolf said, gotten in a stream live. Been a while. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, no, it's been a minute since I've done a stream live. I'm probably going to have one tomorrow or the next day. And may do a members only one as well. Over in my local state, RKI is cabbage maxing. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. So that's what I got for today. Let me get here. Shepherd's Gaming Run says plenty of TV shirt slogans. Merch maxing. That's right. So that's what I got for today, guys. Just a fun one here, quick one here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I definitely missed all of you guys and doing streams. So we're going to be back and covering a lot more topics. If you have any topics for me to cover, make sure you guys email those over to me. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on Clav as he's lolcow maxing and definitely setting himself up for a bunch of other scenarios where he just gets in more and more trouble. So anyways, guys, take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day, whether it's Sunday or Monday, and I will see you very, very soon. Peace.
You are coping the ceiling. You just can't believe what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping the ceiling. The truth it is all day, and now you are molding.